Hello everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 beauty hacks that I feel every woman over 50 needs to see. Some of my most popular videos on my channel are these types of hacks videos, and I always begin these videos by saying, if you consume a lot of beauty content, or even if you don't, there is a likelihood you have seen 1 or 2 or all of these hacks before. But I consume a lot of beauty content. I spend my days creating beauty content, and I admit, even though I may have known about these hacks, I never put them into practice until recently, and I'm wishing I had started sooner. So without any further ado, let's get into 5 beauty hacks you need to know about. I know there are a lot of you watching this video that have purchased a foundation, gotten it home, and you test it for the very first time and it is way too yellow. Maybe the lighting was off in the store, or perhaps the description online was not accurate, and you're so disappointed. And now you're thinking, I've got to either go back to the store to return it or send it through the mail and wait for a refund. But here's something I want you to try before you do that. I want you to try adding a pink liquid blush to that foundation. 1 or 2 little dots of a pink blush, and the one I'm using in this demo is just a very inexpensive liquid blush. You most likely have something in your collection right now that you can use. And I just mix a little bit in with my foundation, and that yellow is instantly neutralized, and it becomes an exact match to my skin tone. As you can see here, this is my bare skin with no foundation. And then now you can see that the foundation matches my bare skin perfectly. I have at least 5 foundations in my makeup collection right now that are either way too yellow for me or just slightly too yellow for me. And I have been able to make all of them match my skin so much better with this hack. Now I want to talk about contour. For so many years, those of us of a certain age were told to suck in our cheeks and contour right below our cheekbones because we're playing with shadows, right? And dark colors make things recede and light colors bring them forward. So the idea was that if we created a shadow right here, it was going to make the cheekbone area look more lifted. At least that is what we hoped. But now that gravity is taking its toll, a lot of us are realizing that all that's doing is unfortunately dragging our face down even more. So what we're wanting to do is bring that contour higher, basically to where you think you would apply blush, right at the tops of your cheekbones. And then when you're buffing out that contour, you're also buffing in an upward motion towards your temples, up towards your forehead. One of the biggest mistakes I see mature women making is that they're bringing their contour and their blush too low. Now, I've said this in other videos. I am not a big fan of blush all the way up here underneath the eyes, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, because while I do believe that can be lifting on certain face shapes, it's not applicable to all face shapes. Contour being higher is applicable to pretty much all face shapes. So the next time you go to do your contour, do not suck in your cheeks and make a stripe underneath. Put that contour right on your cheekbone and blend up. The next hack is one I've been seeing in beauty content creator videos for a couple of years now. And I'll be honest with you, I never really understood why they were doing this. And what I'm referring to is applying your contour or bronzer and blush before concealer. As many of you know, I started my makeup career in 1996 with Laura Mercier Cosmetics. Then I moved on to work for and train with Bobbi Brown herself, not just the brand. I worked with Bobbi Brown. I worked with Laura Mercier. I worked with a lot of their lead makeup artists, and we always had a very specific order of makeup application. And I can tell you what the order wasn't. It wasn't applying cream blush and then concealer. But the more I watched videos of people applying their cream products to their cheeks first and then applying concealer, the more I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and give it a try myself. And I have to say, I am a convert. Applying my concealer after my cream contour and blush has made it so the area underneath my eyes, between my under eye concealer and my blush, is much more diffused. A lot of viewers tell me that one of their biggest struggles is with blending. Maybe it's eyeshadow blending, maybe it's foundation blending. A lot of times it is blush and concealer blending. And applying your blush and concealer this way is going to be game changing, I think, for a lot of you who do in fact struggle with blending. Because that concealer, as I just said, is really going to diffuse the blush so beautifully, especially if you are someone that goes sort of heavy-handed with your blush. This method is going to tone it down with hardly any effort. Obviously, the effort comes in blending out your concealer, but you're doing that anyway. Now you're just blending it a little bit over that cream blush, and I promise you, the first time you try this, you are going to be amazed at how professional your makeup looks. So I am now on board with the cream blush and contour before concealer. Does anyone know what these are? I'm sure some of you do, but a lot of you most likely don't. These colorful little guys are mini flossers for your teeth. And I got a pack of, I think this is 100 flossers for $5.99, $6.99 on Amazon. And while I will likely use some for my teeth, what I've been using them for is my mascara. Many of my viewers are in their 70s and 80s. And because my mother's in her 70s, my aunt is in her 70s, my mother-in-law is in her 80s, I hear what their struggles are. And one of those struggles is not having a very steady hand. Eyesight, mine's already going. My regular viewers know that. I have to be super, super close to my magnifying mirror when I do my eye makeup or apply mascara. But as of now, I'm not very shaky, which is good. But I also find this hack to be helpful even for those who do not have shaky hands. A lot of times those larger mascara wands can be problematic and a struggle for anyone who has a shaky hand. You end up getting mascara on your lid, or you end up putting too much mascara on the bottom lashes, and what that does is draws attention to any dark shadows under the eyes. So what you want to do with this guy is you want to take it and rub it against the mascara wand, coat it really well, and then use this to gently pull out and coat those bottom lashes. The difference between using one of these and a mascara wand, even if it's a very narrow mascara wand, is pretty noticeable. There is pretty much no way to get a clumpy look using one of these little guys. I also like using these to get into the inner corner to really bring out those lashes. Something else that changes when we get older is our lashes become thinner, lighter, and it does become more difficult to get into those inner corners. And let's be honest, sometimes it can look a little strange if you've got mascara only on 2/3 of your lashes. So these are going to be so helpful in bringing out those inner corner lashes, getting a non-clumpy look on the lower lash line. And then you can also use a clean one of these. If you do happen to get mascara or something else on your lid, a lot of us have hooded eyes, or our eyes are becoming more hooded as we get older. So liner and mascara finds its way up onto our lid a lot easier than it did when we were younger. And so if you take a clean one of these and just sort of rub off gently the little mascara that you may have gotten on the lid, it's going to come off like an eraser. But the key is to be just very, very gentle. Don't be rubbing your eyelids, please. And this last hack isn't going to be for everyone. This is very, very specific to the viewers like me that have a tendency to have smudges right here on the outer corner. No matter what I do, I can use any eyeshadow primer on the market. I can use the most long-wearing eyeliner or eyeshadow I can find, and after a few hours, I will have smudging on this outer corner because my eyes turn down on the outer corners and I've got a fold over here, and a lot of us have that, and it is so frustrating to look in the mirror. Let's say you're out to dinner. You did your makeup, you were loving the way it looked. Halfway through your meal, you go to use the ladies' room, you look in the mirror, and you've got smudges right here. People ask me all the time, Risa, what do I do about that? You've been a makeup artist for 30 years. You should know what to do. And until now, I never really had the answer. I said, until now. What I have been doing lately that has been working so well is I am taking an ivory eyeshadow and applying it right there. Now, I know some of you have seen the hack of using a white or an ivory eyeshadow to highlight this area or underneath a winged eyeliner, but we are going to focus this ivory shadow, and you can use any ivory shadow right there, right under the lash line, right in the corner. Now, when I say this isn't going to be for everybody, I don't just mean it's not going to be for those who obviously don't have the problem of smudging under here. If you also have a lot of lines in this area, unfortunately, it might not be the best hack for you, but if you're somewhere in between like me, where you've got some fine lines, but doing this isn't going to make them look 100 times worse, then I do recommend this hack. So I'm getting brightness, and it keeps the eyeliner or eyeshadow, mascara, whatever it may be, from smudging. So there they are, 5 beauty hacks that I simply could not wait to share with you all. As I said during the intro, maybe you've seen 1 or 2 or all 5 of these before. If you have tried them, please let us know in the comments what your outcome was. If you also co-sign that these are great hacks, because obviously I think they are. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider doing so. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find me over on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. My username is the same on every platform. It's Risa Does Makeup. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.